Hi everyone, this is Kim from Five Petal Fields. We're here today to plant up some of our first flowers of the season. So we'll be sowing them into these 72 tray sets. And there's a variety of flowers and vegetables and fruit that we'll be planting that take probably a little bit longer to develop than maybe some other ones that you can plant a little bit closer to the frost date. So to start off, we'll plant these stock mixes. The first one I'll go through is this Anytime mix. It is a jewel tone mix of sweetly scented blooms. It is a hardy variety that can withstand both cold and heat, and is much better than other varieties of stock that can do that. It will reach about 24 inches high and makes an excellent cut flower, which I'm really excited for. It will sprout in 7 to 14 days. We'll be planting them 1/4 inch deep, and it needs 8 to 12 hours of sun. The second one that we'll be planting is the Sissy Shades of Blue mixed stock. It's very similar to the first mix, and it says that it provides a stunning pop of lilac blue and lavender colors, which I'm really excited for, and an incredible scent. It sprouts in 7 to 14 days as well. We'll also be planting it 1/4 inch deep, and it similarly needs 8 to 12 hours of sun. The next one that we'll plant is the Honeydew Tamdew Melon. So we'll be sowing these today as well. And it is the classic honeydew flavor melon. So I really love honeydew melon, watermelon. I like cantaloupe too, but definitely love these ones. So it will sprout in 7 to 14 days. We'll be planting at 1/2 inch deep, and it requires a minimum of 8 to 12 hours of sun. We also will have Crimson Sweet Watermelon. We planted these super late last year, so direct sowed them really late last year, so I'm really excited to actually get some this year because it just took too long. We planted them too late and we didn't really get anything that was super edible. So these ones are full sun, and they have a striking red flesh that tastes absolutely delicious, it says. It produced a nice sized fruit that's perfect for either the home gardener or the market grower. We're just going to be enjoying them for ourselves, I think, this year. We will plant them 1 inch deep, and they mature in 90 days. They love water and rich, well composted, well draining soil, and we'll plant a few seeds per spot. The next one I don't have a picture of on the seed packet, but it is the Blue Beach Heirloom Tomatoes from Johnny's, and they will germinate in 82, they will be full maturity in 82 days. We will sow them 1/4 inch deep in flats 5 to 6 weeks before frost, which is about now. It's actually a little bit earlier, but we want to get a good jump on the fruit season. So these ones are determinate, so they can be supported with stakes and cages pretty traditionally or typically of like what you would find at the hardware store. So they're not going to get massive on us. The last ones that we'll plant are ornamental corn. I'm really excited for these. I'm trying to plant them a little bit earlier than what we would normally do for fall crop, because I'm hoping that if I plant them early enough, I can have some for the 4th of July, which I think would be really cute because they're blue. So we'll get started. So now I'm going to take our Espoma organic seed starting potting mix, and we have it in a spare planter for the moment. And I'm going to take that and pre-moisten it a little bit so that we're not starting from completely dry soil. It certainly will help the seedlings as they try and grow and germinate, access more of that moisture. Okay, there we go. You can see that it's pretty much to the stage where it needs to be when it starts to clump together a little bit. I'm going to start filling the container. And then you want these to be full but not hard packed. It's not quite going to be the scenario where you have to really worry about that at this point. You just want to give the seeds a good place to get started. Just tamp them down just a little bit, and I'm not pushing real hard on it. Okay, so then I'll put the soil to the side for the moment, and we will bring the tray towards us. I'm going to take my gloves off for this part just because it's easier to work in the seed. And so these ones are super, super tiny. Hopefully you can see how small they are. They are really light and very, very small. So I'm probably going to aim for putting a few of them in each spot. And so just to do that, I'm just going to put a little hole in there. It's about 1/4 inch per. Now you just cover them back over. So now that I have all of the seeds planted in this tray, I'm going to use a spray bottle, something really nice and gentle that will just settle the seeds in a little bit more so that they can make sure that they have contact with the dampened soil. And then the gentle spray of the sprayer is not going to move the seedlings around too much, so then they won't end up like on the side of the cell or anything like that. So that's really all you need to do at this point. We will add some vermiculite on the top of the seedling cells at this point, then, so that they won't have as much susceptibility to damping off or other sort of signs of disease. In case you aren't aware, damping off is really where they start looking like they're growing, but then they end up sort of just flopping over. So the vermiculite helps reduce the chances of that happening. And vermiculite is also all natural, so it's a nice product to use. So, and then you can just kind of dust them a little bit to still see the cells. And that's it. That is our first tray of seedlings for 2022. So that's it for planting the seedlings. The last bit that we'll be doing, just to kind of put them in a place that they'll be happiest, is we'll be taking them out of this greenhouse that we built last year. We're in zone 5B and it's early March, so it still gets a little chilly. We are well like a month and a half, 2 months from our last frost date, and it still gets kind of cool in the greenhouse at night. So we have a tiny little heater in here, but it still doesn't quite hold up against really hard cold snaps. So we'll take the seedling tray, put a humidity dome over it, and we'll put it in our setup in our basement, and it has grow lights and kind of like a shelving unit. And eventually, once the seedlings get large enough, we'll take the humidity dome off and put a fan on them to mimic the outside air and just kind of movement of things. It makes them stronger and last a little bit longer, gives them a little bit of a boost as they're trying to grow and harden up. So we will pick up there later on. We'll show you what it's like to transplant these seedlings from the tray later in the year, and we'll show you what they look like when they've grown on later in the season.